This is the part in the Lifetime movie version where I get up to pee.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Legion is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores. Make contact.
The Armchair Quarterback's Wake-Up Show, the rock and roll of sports talk radio. So turn that auto-tune and mumble crap off from the other guys.
This time I'm gonna kick that football clear to the moon.
Amazon Prime members now get free grocery delivery with a minimum order. You'll get your groceries with 2-hour delivery. So in that time, you can finally figure out where the biblioteca is, learn how to play the acoustic guitar, and I guess get a puka shell necklace. Do a makeup tutorial, but realize halfway contouring is hard, and you're beautiful just as you are. Whatever it is you're doing with your time, your shopper will be carefully picking out your favorite organic meats, produce, dairy, and snacks, while providing contactless delivery to your door. Free 2-hour grocery delivery, now with Prime.
6th round, TJ Hoshimazode. Yes, lock it up.
Who? What?
TJ, how's the vanilla? All right. TJ, who's your mama?
You mean TJ Hushmanzada for the Bengals?
Put him on the board. Hoshimazole. Got it. Championship.
Make sure you listen to our quarterbacks right here. We'll answer all your questions, pickups, trades, you name it. You want to win your league? Then listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. And don't be scared to tap that app. Find the Armchair Quarterbacks app today.
Fantasy football time. Football time.
I should have gone to law school or high school.
We live in a world now that welcomes and nurtures the screwball in all of us.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's morning. Yes. And what a lovely morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very nice, very nice. All right, Token, give me a smooth bass line. I don't know how to play bass. Token, how many times do we have to go through this? You're black, you can play bass. I'm getting sick of your stereotypes. Be as sick as you want, just give me a goddamn bass line. God damn it. All right, nice, fellas. Nice. I need you in my life, Jesus. I can't live without you, Jesus. And I just want to feel you deep in
Armchair.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. On Saturday, March 20th in the West, Gonzaga plays Norfolk State 1 versus 16. 8 versus 9 is Oklahoma versus Missouri. Creighton versus UCSB is the 5-12 game, while Virginia versus Ohio is 4-13. USC, 6th seed, takes on the winner of Wichita State versus Drake, the 11th seed. That game will be played on Thursday. The 3-14 game, Kansas versus Eastern Washington. Oregon at 20-6 on the year and the Pac-12 champion. They're the number 7 seed taking on number 10 VCU. The 2 seed Iowa Hawkeyes take on Grand Canyon as the number 15 seed. The winner of the West will take on the East. And the East looks like this. 1 versus 16. Michigan gets the winner of Mount St. Mary's versus Texas Southern. Number 8 LSU versus St. Bonaventure. Number 5 seed Colorado, 22-8 on the year. They take on the 12th seed Georgetown Hoyas, who got in via the Big East Championship. Florida State, the number 4 seed in the East, they take on number 13 seed UNC Greensboro, who are 21-8 on the year and create turnovers. Number 6 BYU takes on the number 11 seed Michigan State versus UCLA. That game will kick it all off on Thursday night. Texas, number 3 seed, takes on Abilene Christian, and UConn, the 7 seed, takes on number 10 Maryland, while Alabama takes on Iona. The games being played on Friday and Sunday. We'll start off with the South region. Number 1 Baylor versus Hartford. Number 8 Carolina versus number 9 Wisconsin. Villanova, the 5 seed, takes on number 12 Winthrop. Purdue versus North Texas is the 4 and 13 seed game. Texas Tech, number 6 seed, will take on Utah State, the number 11 seed. Arkansas, 3 seed, will take on Colgate, who is the 14 seed. And the number 7 seed Florida Gators play Virginia Tech, the 10 seed. Virginia Tech was 15-6 on the season. Ohio State, the 2 seed, plays Oral Roberts. In the Midwest region, it's Illinois getting the number 1 seed. They'll take on Drexel, and they'll get the winner of Loyola Chicago, 24-4 on the year, taking on the 9 seed and ACC tournament champion, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. The number 5 seed Tennessee Volunteers will play the number 12 seed Oregon State Beavers, and they'll play the winner of the Oklahoma State Liberty game. Oklahoma getting the 4 seed at 20-8 on the year. San Diego State, number 6, takes on Syracuse at number 11. West Virginia, the 3 seed, plays Morehead State, the 14th seed. And at the very bottom, you've got Clemson, the 7th seed, taking on the 10 seed Rutgers. They'll play for the right to go up against the winner of the Houston-Cleveland State game. Houston is the 2 seed. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast.
I'm bad at sex. There's a lot of thrashing and thumping, but nothing really gets done. I'm like a broken dishwasher.
Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, the Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning. I'm Mac McGee, and I don't know much, but I know one thing. March Madness begins today. We got a little taste of it last night as the Drake, baby. The Drake did it. You got to love the Drake. They win by 1 if you missed that. And if you're banking on Michigan State to go far in the tournament, they've already been bounced. I got Tony Agolini here with me. Justin Waller's running a little late, but he is on the way. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks. March Madness for the first time in 2 years.
Up in the morning to the rising sun.
Up in the morning to the rising sun.
Gonna run all day till the running's done.
Gonna run all day till the running's done.
Ho Chi Minh is the son of a bitch.
Ho Chi Minh is the son of a bitch.
Got the blue balls, crabs, and the 7-year itch.
Got the blue balls, crabs, and the 7-year itch.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man. With a cool in his head. Yeah, the armchair.
Hey, howdy, hi. Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. I'm Mac McGee, sitting alongside Mr. Tony Agolini as Justin is on his way. Tony, how are you on this beautiful beginning of March Madness? Tony, you're muted. As what, you know, why wouldn't you be? All right. You got to unmute yourself, buddy. There you go. How are you, sir?
No, I'm excited. Caught some games last night. Watched a little baseball too, but yeah, I'm excited today. A bunch of games. I'll catch what I can at work. I'll watch the Gators at lunch, and then sit back and watch it all weekend.
Are you coming back from lunch? That's what I'm asking.
I will come back from lunch. There's work. There's donuts to be made, but yeah, it's fun. It's back. I wish we had full crowds, but beggars can't be choosers. We'll aim for that next year. But the setup's pretty cool. Everything's within about an hour of Indianapolis, playing in some historic places. So I guess that's pretty neat. But yeah, it was fun last night. Like you said, Drake got the big win, and always nice to see. I like Tom Izzo. I don't really care for Michigan State all that much, so it's always nice to see Michigan State get bounced.
Now, why would that be, Tony? Why would you be holding a grudge against Michigan State basketball?
Oh, I don't know. It probably goes back to say 2007.
Okay, 2000. Yeah, I used to have the same grudge against him when they knocked out Duke, but I don't know. To be honest with you, Izzo's kind of grown on me over the years, and he's one of the.
Yeah. I like Izzo. I just don't care for Michigan State all that much. I didn't like that Cleves.
Well, that wasn't Michigan State that knocked you out of the national championship, but that was Tom Izzo. It's been one consistent through the entire time.
Exactly, but yeah, he's a heck of a coach, no doubt about that. But the other Norfolk State got a win over Appalachian State. Appalachian State hadn't been in forever, and I got some family up in the Virginia Beach area, and it was funny. Norfolk State knocked off Missouri when Missouri was still in the Big 12 in I think it was 2012, and I wanted no part of that Missouri team, and luckily Norfolk State won and kind of helped Florida get to the Elite Eight that year from that opening round win. So cool to see them win. And the playing games to me, like before and until the last 5 minutes, are kind of meh to me, but at least it's it's the NCAA tournament, but it gets started for real today. I don't like Florida being the first game. We've done that before. We lost to a Manhattan team one year where we were kind of grand opening, grand closing. I think we tipped off at 12-10 and the tournament was over at 2-10. So I'd like to at least get one win today.
Yeah, that's going to be a great way to kick off as someone who does have a dog in that hunt. I'm glad it's tipping off that way, because it adds to the excitement. I hate when the tournament opens and it's some junk a 2 seed versus a 15 seed. We get that directly after, because CBS, I don't know why they chose the Ohio State game versus who are they playing, Oral Roberts. They're choosing that to be the second game on CBS, the national feed. That's a really strange decision. That's going to be a real channel flipper, because if you're looking for the games today, y'all, it's on TBS, it's on TNT, it's on True TV, and it's on CBS, and it'll be like that for the first weekend. And I think you get some of that in the second weekend as well. I'm not sure about that. I know the first weekend, those are the four that you have to look for. And I've already moved all those channels to the top, so I don't have to go searching for them. Welcoming on the show, Mr. Justin Waller. How are you, sir?
I'm doing better than Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans.
Is that why you're wearing his green? Is it for a tribute to the Spartans?
Absolutely. That's what it is.
Man, I'll tell you what, though, not that we're going to have time to harp on that game, but they blew that, man. They were dominating that game. They just choked it down the stretch. And then, of course, it got to overtime, and they were just outplayed. But what I saw consistently, and this is strange from a Tom Izzo's team, is that they weren't doing the fundamentals down the stretch, and that's what got them beat. Like that weird bounce pass that they tried to do to the low post that went flying out of bounds, and the guy that was trying to receive the low post, I feel like he half-assed it. He reached out with one arm and just kind of let it trickle out of bounds. And to me, that was like a guy exhausted in a pickup game on a Sunday afternoon, not someone who's in the NCAA tournament. And then the other thing that I saw with Michigan State was that they were constantly forcing the issue when there were guys open, and that's not like Tom Izzo basketball. So I'm sure he'll be raring to go next year. I don't know how good UCLA is, if they'll be able to repeat that, but that should be a good matchup, BYU, UCLA. So Florida, Virginia Tech, 12-15. Tony, I know you're picking the Gators to win. Justin, what's your honest gut feeling about that game?
Not so fast.
Oh, are you? Oh, let me guess. Virginia Tech's gonna beat them by 16. You're gonna do the old Lou Holtz thing where they're really good. We don't deserve to be on the same court with them.
Well, I did mean to cut you off, Justin, because I didn't want to get lost in the shuffle. I think Coach White's been good in these first games. That part's true. I don't know where this team's mindset is. We've been in the tank like the last 3 games. Trey Mann really. This team will go as far as Trey Mann will carry it. If he has a big game today, Florida will win. If he ends up with 15 points and no one else really contributes, then it's going to be tough. West Virginia or Virginia Tech runs a lot of motion ball movement. Guys got to switch on defense, and communication hasn't been a strength for us. But I picked Virginia Tech in my brackets. I wouldn't be shocked if Florida wins today. It'd be a pleasant surprise. I think that's for sure.
I like the fact that you quoted a Seminole going with the "not so fast, my friend."
Yes, I saw my shot.
Justin, what is your honest feeling this? Because I don't have a very good temperature on this game. In some of my brackets, I took Florida. Some of I took Virginia Tech. To me, it's a toss-up.
I think they're both similar teams to their respective conferences. It's been a year of up and downs and inconsistency for both. So it just depends on which one shows up. If Mann can take over the game, then I agree with Tony. I think Florida has a chance. But if Tech can find a way to take away his offensive firepower, then I'm going to lean the Hokies. So this game live and dies by Mann, unfortunately. It's going to be nerve-wracking for Florida fans.
So that takes us into the other games, and we're going to go flying into those as there are a slew of games today.
Fast break. He starts the fast break with plenty of room in front of him.
Here they go again. It's showtime.
Tennessee Volunteers, 4:30. Let's do that one first. They take on Oregon State. Justin, we'll go back to you since you're the resident Vol fan. Do you have a good feeling about this game?
I mean, I like the way Tennessee's playing coming into it. I hated the loss that they gave away against Alabama, but it showed that they could hang in with upper-level talent. So their offense has been consistent enough the last 3 or 4 games that I feel pretty good. I'm nervous, though, because Oregon State had a heck of a run to win their conference to get into this tournament. So it's not an easy task, but I'm going to lean Tennessee. I think that defense can take over and cause some problems from Oregon State.
Now, I think that Oregon State's one of those teams that just happen to get hot in their conference tournament, and Tennessee's going to pummel them today. Tony, do you see it differently?
Amazingly, I do. I think, I don't know what percentage Fulkerson's going to be, and I think that's a key because I think he's kind of that team's emotional backbone. Is he cleared to play, Justin?
He's still day-to-day.
Yeah, so I think
that's all that Barnes is coughing up on it. Nothing more than that.
That's kind of the key for me. I think Oregon State's a pretty cool story. I mean, they were picked, I think, dead last or next to last in the Pac-10 this year, and here they are in the tournament. I really didn't pick a lot of upsets in the first round, but Oregon State was one of them. Liberty was the other.
It feels like one of these things when they haven't put it together all year and they win 3-4 games in a row to win their tournament. Can they continue that ride? To me, it normally doesn't happen that way. You usually see that meteoric rise and then they fall flat in the tournament. Wisconsin versus North Carolina is at 7:00. That to me might be the best game of the day. And I think North Carolina is going to march on. I've been saying this all week. I feel like North Carolina is playing really good basketball. And I'm not saying they're underseeded because if you look at their record, I get it. But I do think they're undervalued. And I think that they can make a really interesting game number 2 versus the 1 seed. Justin, what say you?
I mean, aside from the Tennessee, this is my game of the day. I'm excited about this matchup, but I think Wisconsin is vulnerable, and I do like the way that Carolina's playing right now. I'm going to lean the Tar Heels. I know that's not a surprise to you, but I just can't go against my boys.
Tony?
Justin likes UNC. I don't. I have
don't like Florida either.
Wisconsin's pretty battle tested. I know they do have their flaws, and I agree with you, Mac. I think UNC is playing really well right now. I just think it's right for a Wisconsin, slow it down. They're not as smooth as they usually are. They're a little more chaotic than usual, but I'll take them in a little bit of an upset.
I don't get the feeling that I normally get from this Wisconsin team as opposed to years past, where look out, man, they could be dangerous, yada yada yada. I think they're going to get if it's a word, they're going to get out athleted today, and it took I think almost 3/4 of the year for all those talented young kids for North Carolina to start playing together. And this is normally what you see out of a Kentucky team late in the year, where you're like, man, I know their schedule, their record's not impressive, but have you watched them play recently? And that's what I'm getting the feeling of North Carolina. Might have egg on my face, but I think North Carolina has a real chance of actually getting to the Sweet 16. Rutgers Clemson, that's an interesting one. I've been on the fence on this one as well all week. I kind of feel like Rutgers is going to pull it off, but Clemson does have that weird way of playing really good games out of nowhere. I don't think Clemson can put anything together and make a march through March, but I do think that this is an interesting game because Rutgers has been kind of freaking Jekyll and Hyde themselves. I've seen some games where I'm like, man, Rutgers may be a danger, and then you watch them 2-3 nights later, and the only danger is that they're a danger to themselves. Tony, what say you on Rutgers Clemson?
I have Rutgers in this. I have a tough time buying Clemson, and they're kind of, I think they're limping into this a little bit. So I have Rutgers in that one. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it's kind of a toss up. Just pick one or the other. I think we talked about the Big Ten probably like a month ago, and like some how the media is pumping them up, and I've bought into that. I think in some of my picks, where if it's default between the two, and it's not all ACC teams, but Clemson's one of those where I'm like, you know what, I think I'm going to go ahead and take Rutgers because they seem similar to me, and I'll take Rutgers being maybe a little bit more battle tested.
Justin, what say you? I know the other day we took Clemson on our bracket. Are you still feeling the Tigers?
Yeah, I'm taking the Tigers. I mean, just similar reasons, but just opposite thought process of Tony. I'm leaning with the ACC being a little bit more tested for Clemson. Even though they're having a down year as a conference, I still will take Tobacco Road and that conference as a whole, top to bottom, versus anybody else when it comes to college basketball.
Now, this one I've consistently picked. I might have egg on my face at the end of the day because sometimes Jim Boeheim's teams just lay eggs, and they're not one of the more offensively talented teams that he's had. But I've got Syracuse upsetting San Diego State later tonight. It's a 9:40 tip. Syracuse presents a lot of problems with that zone defense that they throw at people, but San Diego State does put a lot of points on the board. I think they're going to be forced to shoot from the outside, but they've been known to do that. Tony, do you see that game differently?
I've got San Diego State as well. I like Boeheim, even though, well, he's had his transgressions, of course. Boeheim's a long lost fraternity brother of mine, of course, at different times. But anyway,
is that like a Salfa nose picker, Agma Pi, or whatever the hell y'all are?
Lambda. Yeah, we
nose pick eater.
That's
national television.
I'll
never look at that guy the same ever again, man. Ever since he picked the boogie and ate it on national television, I'm always going like, ugh, you're one of those.
him and the kid from Caddyshack. I think the way you get through Syracuse's zone is the way San Diego State plays, which is get up and down court and transition and beat Syracuse to where they don't have time really to set up that matchup zone on every single possession. I think Syracuse is a tougher out in game 2 than game 1, because in game 2 you really just have kind of a day to go through walkthroughs and kind of prepare for that matchup zone. When you have a few days in advance of game 1, I think it's easier to get Syracuse. That's one of the reasons why I picked San Diego State.
Okay, I've got Syracuse, but Justin, what say you?
I picked San Diego State because I couldn't pick all ACC schools.
Somebody's got to lose, right?
Yeah. I have no rhyme or reason on that one. I can't help you, gentlemen. So apologize.
Fair enough. And then we got the other, what I think is the other big interesting matchup of the day, 9:57 tip. Villanova versus Winthrop, but 5 versus 12. You normally see one of them fall every year. I've been kind of leaning towards wanting to put Winthrop in my bracket, but what the hell do I know about Winthrop? I know one thing. I know that Villanova is just a few years removed from damn near winning it all with was that against North Carolina?
I believe so.
Yeah. So I kind of lean with their coaching. You know, I know we still got a few hours before we have to actually seal it in, but I'm going to try not to touch my bracket last minute because I normally do that, and it just turns into a disaster. Like, what the hell is I think? I got Oral Roberts in the Elite Eight. So Nova Winthrop, I kind of can see an upset, but I can also see these experts being drastically wrong in Nova, though they're missing their best player. They've got enough talent to where they could run Winthrop out of the state. I don't know what the hell Winthrop is. Is it Winthrop? Their logo looks like eagles or something like that. Tony, do you have any kind of a pulse on this game?
I always lean with Jay Wright. I think he's one of the best coaches in America, like top 5. I think he's severely underrated as a coach because I think a lot of people always lean like Roy Williams and Izzo and Krzyzewski, and you know the list goes on and on. I think
he doesn't have near the facilities that the North Carolinas and Michigan States, et cetera, have.
Yeah, and I think he's honestly similar to Donovan, where he's able to take a roster that doesn't have a lot of NBA guys every year. What Donovan did at Florida for most of those years, and do well with it. And I think Jay Wright's a heck of a coach. I always pick Villanova to go a decent way in the NCAA tournament, even when they're just okay. And I think this is one of those like just okay teams, but I think they'll win tonight.
All right, so that gets to the next question. Do you got a bracket buster that you're picking in day one, Tony?
Not really. I don't think. I mean, I have Oregon State and I have Liberty, and that'll be a matchup to see who goes to the Sweet 16. Other than that, really, I mean, nobody really jumps out. I don't have any like 13 and above seeds. I don't even think I have a 12. I just think it's going to be a lot of chalk. I think not having people, not having a lot of fans, or at least enough fans to make a difference. I think it kind of hurts the underdog in a lot of these, because if you go to these NCAA tournament games, like the Georgia State Baylor game from a few years ago here in Jacksonville, once the underdog kind of has a chance, especially in the second half, the entire arena, other than the other school's fans, really turns towards the underdog and really kind of helps them rally through it. And I think that's what this tournament's going to miss. And to me, I think it's going to be a lot of chalk. I think you'll see some differences in like the 7-10 and maybe even 6-11 games. But beyond that, I think it's going to be kind of standard operating procedure for the higher seeds.
Justin, do you have a bracket buster?
Ohio beating Virginia.
Okay.
I tend to like that. I've been leaning all week with Georgetown beating Colorado, but after yesterday and we did our bracket, I'm leaning Colorado. I'm kind of like you. I'm in between it and the Winthrop Villanova. I'm trying to find my 12-5 upset, and I'm trying to avoid it being the Tennessee-Oregon State game. So right now I'm leaning that Winthrop gets the win and Georgetown goes down. So I'm going to say Winthrop and Ohio are the only two double-digit seeds I see going on. I forgot Virginia Tech's going to beat Florida today.
So the one that I have, especially going to the next round, is that the winner of St. Bonaventure LSU, particularly if it's LSU, because they're going to pose a lot of problems. I think they're going to get Michigan. I think Michigan is very vulnerable. They're downplaying the loss of Livers. He's obviously not going to be affected in round number 1, but I would be concerned about that. But as far as games being played today, I'm still going to kind of lean with that Winthrop upset. I've seen too many good things written about Winthrop, and if they can get the kind of points, the only thing you're worried about a team like Winthrop is the moment too big for them. And I agree with you. Jay Wright's one of the best in the country, but sometimes losing a player like that, just like with Michigan, can just be devastating. Outside of that, that Boeheim, it's one thing to practice for, it's another thing to see it. And that Boeheim zone that he throws at people especially if they can get off to any kind of a decent start. You start feeling the pressure, and you don't get the shots that you normally do. And I just don't. Looking at Justin, we've talked about this a few times over the last couple of weeks. When you look at San Diego State's schedule, it's just not impressive, and so that's my other reasoning for it. Syracuse hasn't been impressive either this year, but they have been battle tested, and so that's kind of where I'm leaning with that. Kind of like with Justin's theory on why Clemson is going to beat Rutgers. That's kind of my reasoning on why I think that Syracuse is going to beat San Diego State, is just because they play a really tough conference schedule.
I do have Arkansas losing in the first round. I guess that's probably my biggest.
Whoa, that's a bracket.
Dennis shows up.
Whoa.
I was like going through. I was like, I know I got somebody. I have Colgate over Arkansas. I think got kind of bought into Colgate. They're super fun to watch. Apparently, I just caught a little bit of their championship game, but they're the same team as Arkansas up and down the court. I just kind of have that feeling that maybe Colgate might even come out a little relaxed and shoot better than Arkansas. And, like I said, Arkansas is a great team too, but I've seen them kind of at their worst. They didn't play all that great against us, so that probably factors into it as well. But that's my biggest one of the tournament.
I did see one of the talking heads on CBS Sports said that they thought that might be the most entertaining game of the entire first round, that Colgate can really get up and down. I'm going to be honest. I have not seen Colgate play, so I have no idea. Tony, what's your final four?
I have all the 1 seeds except for Michigan. And in Michigan's place, I have one Florida State University.
Oh, you're just trying to put the kiss of death on us. Okay. I see what you're up to. I see what you're up to.
I do think they get over and they would probably have to face Gonzaga on the other side, with a big hump to get over. But I just, the same thing with you on Michigan. I think they're good enough to get through the first few rounds, and then they'll play FSU, who's deeper.
I'm hoping Florida State gets to play nothing but upset city, and they don't have to face Gonzaga.
It's funny. I was telling somebody that the other day, like when Florida's really, really good, like when we're a top 3 seed or so, I want to avoid all the other good teams for as long as possible. Similar to like when I mentioned Norfolk State beating Missouri years ago, and we've had some good fortune with some other, even in the 06 and 07 teams, we had some good fortune in the in-state tournament with other teams losing. But when we're just okay, I want a shot at a 1 or a 2 seed. Like, that's why I don't mind if we happen to win today playing Ohio State. Like, I'm all for it. Like, go down swinging. If you're not that great, like, take a shot at a 1 or 2. And if you pull the upset, great. If not, then, it's on to next year. At least you made it
easy with that shot taking, Tony. I mean, y'all throwing elbows and stuff ain't cool.
Well, if it was up to me, Payne wouldn't play today. Payne wouldn't play for the rest of the season.
Hey, I will defend the guy, and it appears Fulkerson has come out, and dude's been pretty remorseful about it. So it seems like he's been pretty stand up off the court, got heated in the moment. He agreed it was kind of shady, but he's owned it. So I'm not going to bash him. Actually, I think that's pretty stand up.
Not to take anything away from Billy Donovan's championships, but he definitely got the benefit of some upsets. George Mason. That's how I almost got a George Mason tattoo. I'm this close to have had a George Mason tattoo.
Whoa, I got to hear this story. This is is it like the Titans tattoo story?
It's similar. I'll tell it on the other side of the break, but yeah. Tony, what's your walk off?
I'm just excited. March Madness is back. Like I said, I wish it was a full house and fans. I don't know. I think there was supposed to be a regional here in Florida, because we're not getting one until I think 2023. I think it's in Orlando again finally, but it'll be fun. It's weird Friday through Monday, but so that'll be a little bit different. But yeah, I'm excited for it, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention your boys beating my boys in baseball on Tuesday night.
Pounding them. Where the hell is this? We do this, but we can't fight. We cannot fight our way out of a wet paper sack when we go up to and play Virginia Tech. I'm like, what? Where was this?
I don't know what Mike Martin Jr. is going to do long term, but he's got him ready to play Florida so far. They jumped on Garrett Milchin early, and we never did anything at the plate, and we got a nice win last night. Yeah.
And the kid that we sent to the mound, I was thoroughly impressed. Because usually your Tuesday starter is junk, and I think that kid might find his way into the weekend a lot sooner than later.
So I think he was a Sunday guy like the first week or two, and they kind of wanted to move him around, and Now he's a Tuesday, but I think you're right. I think he's going to be back to being a weekend guy sooner rather than later. I think he had like 11 strikeouts or something like that, and something crazy. But he was good. I couldn't watch it. I was listening to it, but the Florida announcers were pretty impressed. And one of them was a friend of mine. He pitched for Florida, and he's done a lot of work with pitchers. He said this FSU kid really has what it takes. So that's kind of one thing that's been maybe missing over there. They've always had bats. They haven't necessarily had dominant pitching.
All right, brother. We will see you next week. Great job, and go Hokies.
All right. See you guys. Take care,
bud.
We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Keep it locked in here to CBS Radio on a Friday morning that is tipping off the NCAA tournament for the first time in 730 days.
That's not what he said, you ignorant wretch. Spanish is worse than your English.
The Armchair Quarterback Show, talking about things that'll piss you off, things that'll make you think, things that'll make you laugh, things all throughout the sports world. The Armchair Quarterback Show, weekdays, drive time, talking about things.
Like a kiss in the dark.
Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. Just text BURN to 323232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat burning mode. Text BURN to 323232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off a month of meals and 50% off a month of shakes with probiotics to help support your immune system. Just text BURN to 323232 right now. There's even a money-back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text BURN to 323232. That's BURN to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Randy Moss has caught 3 touchdown passes. What a performance.
I didn't even see the ball. I didn't. The sun coming down that way. I seen a black spot at the last minute. So it was either a ball or a bird. So catch the black spot.
CBS Sports Radio, your home for all things sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, coast to coast. Great sports talk expected here. CBS Sports Radio.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Find us on Facebook today.
Cars from all over America come to find a new home in Florida, just like you. I moved here after the draft, football. I noticed there was one thing missing from this great town, a celebrity-endorsed used car shop. That's why I founded BJ's Used Autos. Every one of these beauties is freshly painted. They look brand new. We have new models coming in every morning, usually around 2 a.m. We can get you anything. And if you see a car of your dreams, tell us. We can acquire it for you. I've taken the skills I've learned as a pro football player to the used car business. Smash, grab, and run like hell. I'm tackling low prices with hot cars.
You'll do anything to stay healthy. So isn't it time to think about your water? Aquasana water filters remove contaminants other filters don't, like lead, bacteria, viruses, and pesticides. Up to 99% of 88 contaminants, while leaving vital minerals you need like potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Visit waterfilter.com now and use promo code RADIO to get 50% off. That's waterfilter.com, promo code RADIO for pure, delicious water and the ultimate peace of mind. Aquasana, better water, better you.
This is Jim Rome. Join me in the jungle for your phone calls and the biggest names in sports. Stop by weekdays, noon until 3 Eastern, 9 to noon Pacific.
Why is there a pancake in the silverware drawer?
Then why is there silverware in the pancake drawer?
Welcome back here to CBS Sports Radio. Good morning, y'all. Friday, March 19th, and we've got the NCAA tournament back for the first time in 2 years. Justin, real quick on that almost George Mason tattoo. So the year was 2006. Gather around, kiddies, while I tell you a story 15 years ago. And I was schnockered at, I don't remember the guy's name's house, but anyways, I'd made I don't know if you call it a bet, but a promise with another guy that I worked with. This is about 2 to 3 years before the infamous Titan tattoo tragedy, where I got the terrible Titan tattoo, and I refused to get it altered because then it's just a dumb tattoo of a football team. What I have now is just a hell of a story, and that's just the way I look at it. So I never want someone to see, go, man, that's a cool tattoo. I always love the better version of, dude, what happened to that thing? And I'm like, trashed. So a few years before that, Florida is marching their way, and they're a good team. They're a really good team. They're number 3 seed. But I had to pull up the bracket because I wanted to remember it the way I do remember it. This is why I was pissed off, okay? And this is why I made the thing that said if George Mason gets to the national title game, because they were about to play Florida in the Final Four. So I probably made this promise on a Friday night is what I'm thinking, is the Final Four is always played on Saturday. So it's probably Thursday or Friday night. We're schnockered. This is back in the old Crockett days. And actually, I might have been at Stu's house, but there was someone else that gassed me into it. And of course, back then he was on the Gator bandwagon, right?
Right.
So he and I were close friends. We were hanging out all the time. And so it was a lot of things were adding to this. Okay. Why I boiled up, and I made a declaration for about 30 people that I work with, because it was a big party, drunker than you know what. And I said that if George Mason makes it, the other guy said they had to win it all. And if they make it past Florida, by God, I'm getting a George Mason tattoo. And I don't know what their damn, logo is, but we're going to figure it out. This is in the infancy of Google. So, we're going to figure out somehow to figure out the, the whole George, if nothing else, I was going to get GMU. And so Florida won the first round game. They were a 3 seed. They beat South Alabama. But this is why I was getting pissed, Justin. And this always gets skated over when they won that first title. The next round, Florida plays number 11 seed UW of Milwaukee because they had upset Oklahoma, the 6 seed. All right, whatever. It's the way the breaks go. The next damn round, they play number 7 Georgetown because they had upset Ohio State. And I'm like, Florida's just getting handed this national championship. They did beat a good Villanova team, but then they get to the national title, and I'm like, they're playing George Mason, who was an 11 seed, and no one knew anything about George Mason other than, fast forward now, it's funny, Sean texts me and says, hey, if you don't know who that George Mason coach is, this is like a couple of days ago, or this is last weekend during the ACC tournament. If you don't know who that Miami coach is, he used to coach George Mason. I just text back, yeah. And I wanted to go, you think I don't know who the hell this jackass is? I almost got a freaking tattoo. Is this stupid ass got all the way to the Final Four? They couldn't do anything else. So they're an 11 seed in playing the University of Florida. And Florida's also getting a pass because there are no 1 seeds. I think it was the first time it had ever happened. There were no 1 seeds in the Final Four. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me right now? On the other side of the bracket was UCLA, who was not a very good UCLA team. Even though they were a 2 seed, it was vastly believed that they were overseeded, and a 4 seed LSU team that you couldn't name one person off of them. Right. And this is why I almost got the tattoo, because I felt like if Florida got past George Mason's Cinderella story, they were going to beat whoever they faced in the other in the final, because both those teams were not very spectacular, and Florida beat that team by 16 points. But anyways, they beat the hell out of George Mason. George Mason didn't belong there. And this is how I almost get stupid tattoos.
Yeah, you should not drink and get tattoo bits.
Dude,
that should be outlawed.
I bet there's a handful of those. I've really went back and thought about how many I almost got, and then finally someone called my bluff. I was like, let's do it. I didn't even know what getting a tattoo entailed.
At least it wasn't like a Royals or something. I mean,
I do remember, it not hurting nearly as bad as people tried to tell you it was. Then again, I was schnockered at 6 a.m. in someone's kitchen with I'll never forget, it was a 24-pack of Busch Light in between my legs after I'd been plowing big, thick, sturdy drinks at what was the name of that place? Duggars. Did you ever go to Duggars when it was around?
Yes.
Oh man, I used to live in that place. I moved away, and shortly after that it closed down, and people were convinced it was because they couldn't handle the financial blow of me not going up there every weekend. Me and my buddy Tom Ritter, we used to just live in that place. If it wasn't there, then we'd go other places, but we'd always end up back in that place. For people who are not familiar with what Duggars is, it was this huge bar in Murfreesboro on the outskirts of town. Nothing spectacular about it, but you had like a room. It was a band, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For some reason I was thinking karaoke, but I think my jackass was just getting up singing a lot, but not, with no microphone. And then the other room did have a karaoke stage, because I remember getting up there, or at least I think I was doing certain nights of the week they had a karaoke stage, and I would get gassed into going up there. But then there was the other room that had the pool tables, and I feel like there was a band in there most nights. But anyways, the good old days, Duggars. Matt,
and then it went to gyms and it got worse.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you went to gyms, then that was a bottom out night. You know what I mean? Like, there were no standards, all holds barred. It's all off the table. It wasn't the fact that you didn't care who you were hitting on. You didn't give a damn if you ended up in prison that night. You're just going to dirty gyms to get liquored up and see what kind of trouble you could get into.
Kid you not, drove past there yesterday, one of their locations, and was asked by somebody riding with me, "Is that an adult club?" I said, might as well be.
The first time I saw the name Gentleman Gyms, I thought it had to be a strip club.
Yeah, so might as well be. It's not, though. You want to check it out? Nope. Outgrew that a long time ago.
Which one did you go by?
Clean.
It's a date rape.
Main Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Date rape gyms.
There's
date rape gyms, and then there's dirty gyms.
Well, now there's clean and dirty. We just call them clean and dirty.
And in certain sectors, it's still known as date rape gyms.
I'm not in that group.
Things that would get cancel cultured in 2021. You wouldn't call it, and I remember people getting pissed off because you call it dirty gyms.
They're going to shut your group email down over that one.
I mean, I remember the infancy of that particular nickname coming about. We were helping in the name, by the way, but I'm like, why do you call it Dirty Gyms, Gentleman Gyms number 2? And like, dude, have you ever been in the damn thing? First of all, there's Gyms 3 and Gyms 2. No one knows where the hell Gyms 1 was at. I think it went out of business. But there was a definite distinction between both of them. But the reason why they called the one date rape, I need to quit saying that, gyms, was because it sat right next to Frat Row. So it's not like this was actually happening, wink, wink, but it was being referred to. You go in there, man, you're getting a bunch of creepy freaking frat dudes. Bunch of Tony Agolini's in his prime going around there. Dirty Gyms was like the blue collar, and it sat next to the pub. And that place was no better than the gym. So it was just the famous brawl of, I don't even remember what year that was when we Campus Pub and Dirty Gyms went fighting like it was, West Side Story out in the middle of the freaking park.
I swear I got roofied in the Campus Pub one night. Craziest story I've ever been. And then trying to talk anybody to believe that they wanted to roofie me, I was like, well, maybe they thought it was somebody else's drink. I don't know. I didn't stick around to ask, but
I never, in all those places, I never left my drink sitting down. Of course, that's just par for the course for me. I've always have my drink connected to my hand, but I would just never do. I didn't trust anybody. I wasn't worried about anyone roofing me. I was worried about them putting something like something creepy in your drink to give you the green apple quick steps. There's just a lot of junk going on in the late 90s, early 2000s. I didn't trust any of them.
Oh, it's whatever they could do to get you to pass out so they can rob you at that point.
I was worried about them just trying to harvest an organ. That's what I was worried about.
I'm gonna wake up with all my parts.
I was like, nobody wants me that bad. Where we gotta drug McGee so we can get him going. No, it wasn't that. I was just like, man, I can just see me waking up the back alley of one of these places and I'm missing a liver, and I'm like, oh, son of a, what do I do about this?
That was important. Could you have taken the kidney?
Exactly. Can you take my heart? I'm pretty sure I could figure a way to pump the blood somehow. Back real quick on the what's happening, because there were some things that actually happened yesterday. I want to get into that real quick, and then we'll dive back into some baseball and basketball. If y'all missed it yesterday, NFL Disney, they have a deal in place now, begins in 2023. It's a 10-year deal. ABC, which for all intents and purposes means ESPN, will be hosting 2 Super Bowls starting in 2026. So that's different. It makes me wonder if there'll be something available for Disney's streaming service. So stay tuned for that. Now there's 3 massage therapists, Justin, they're suing Deshaun Watson. And he keeps saying, I did not have sexual intercourse.
And there's a lawyer down there that keeps saying there's up to 9, but there's only been 3 suits filed so far. So there's no telling how far this goes.
Bro, you better start approving some of those trades. Mitchell Trubisky signs with the Buffalo Bills as the backup. So that's interesting. Pete Weber, the only name I know in professional bowling, retired yesterday. I didn't even know he was actually still bowling, but evidently he'd been bowling, and he officially retired yesterday. Drake beats Wichita State at the buzzer, and of course, Michigan State, we talked about that. They lose to UCLA. Will Fuller signs a 1-year deal to Miami. Kenyon Drake goes to the Raiders on a 2-year deal. And Jacksonville's beloved Keelan Cole is no more. He signs with the New York Football Jets on a 1-year, $5.5 million deal. I know Keelan fairly well, and I wish nothing but the best for him. I hope things turn out well for him up there.
How about AJ going out west to the Cardinals? AJ Green signing out there, and now going to be a number 2, and not, he's not going to have the best corner on him every week, because that one's definitely going to be on Hopkins. So that's a unique situation out there.
It'll be interesting to see what he's got left in the tank. I still think Arizona needs to probably draft said 2, but they'll probably keep what they have. And Larry Fitzgerald still hasn't made an official announcement on whether he's coming back or not. So you could have 2 receivers to help mentor any kind of young receiver that you draft. So yeah, that's big stuff happening in the world of sports, including the NCAA tournament. But also there have been some, what does it say? Does LSU make it to Michigan and win? I think LSU will win. I do believe that LSU is going to win. That's MB. I don't know who MB is, but LSU. I like LSU to beat Michigan. To beat St. Bonaventure. And there's one bracket where I've actually got LSU marching past Michigan, because I just think Michigan's going to be highly affected by not having levers. What's your take on it, Justin?
I've got Michigan going through. I've got them following to Florida State. I think they get past. I'm leaning LSU just because I don't know much about the Bonnies. I see where you thinking with the injury, LSU could get Michigan. I think they've got enough depth and have been tested enough this year playing better basketball than LSU. So I'm going to lean Michigan in a tough game to get out of the round of 32, but I think that's where it ends. And I think they get knocked off by Florida State in Sweet 16.
By the way, there have been some Major League Baseball teams that have announced their opening day starter already. The Braves have not. They have not announced their starter. I think it's most likely going to be Max Fried. I would be shocked if it wasn't. But the Red Sox have named Eduardo Rodriguez. It looks like he's fully recovered. The Cubs have not. Lucas Giolito is obviously going to be the White Sox. That was announced yesterday. Shane Bieber of the Indians. A couple other teams, Zach Greinke. See if there's any. Dylan Bundy is going to be the opening day starter for the Angels. Do you know something? As much as I've trashed Quintana that went out there to sign with the Angels, he's got like 10 or 11 innings pitched at this point, and he has a 0 ERA. I still don't think he's very impressive. When you watch it, looks like he's throwing frisbees, but he's at least striking out the AA guys or something, because he's got it's right around the 10 inning mark, 0 earned runs, and he's got more strikeouts than he has innings pitched. So that surprised me. Clayton Kershaw is still going to be the opening day starter for the Dodgers. I thought they might go a little youth movement there. DeGrom, Kenta Maeda. See if anyone else. Jack Flaherty, the Cardinals. Gonzalez, the Mariners. No shock there. Kyle Gibson of the Rangers. That makes me not want to have Kyle Gibson. I don't know who they play on opening day. Okay, they play the Royals. But when you have a guy who's not a number one starter, but he's going to be slated as a number one starter for a bad team, means he's going to be going up against the ones all year long, and you could end up with, oh, great, this guy who's actually got a decent ERA, but he's going up against freaking Garrett Cole today. What the hell am I going to do about this? So guys like that get slated early in the staffs, I get a little gun shy when it comes to draft time. I don't know about you, but that's where I sit on that.
I get crazy going draft time. Give me some pitchers, more pitchers, and another pitcher.
So you're all about pitchers.
Yeah, I am. Now, I mean, I keep bats, but I mean, over the past few seasons, there's plenty of waiver wire additions to fill in rosters with bats throughout the season.
By the way, they just came out with the or they're coming out with the top 10 farm systems. 3, 2, and 1 come out today. Right now, they've got going 10 to 4. It's Kansas City, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Toronto, San Diego, Baltimore, and Miami. If the Braves aren't in that top 3, I'm going to be a little pissed off because I there for a while we were number 1. I think the Rays have overtaken that. But if they've got us not even in the top 10, I'm going to be a little perturbed with MLB. It's funny how they'll give some guys credit for still being a prospect in your system and other guys not. And really, it's really just it's.
Are you talking like a Pache or
an Ian Anderson? I mean,
how they're labeling them?
Yeah, because technically they're still eligible to be rookies of the year this year. So if you're eligible to be a rookie of the year, I think you have to still be considered a prospect. Now, obviously, guys like Max Fried, you don't consider them prospects, but Pache's definitely got to still be a prospect because both him and Ian Anderson were thrown into action along with Bryce. They were all thrown into action because of injuries and paying some guy $18 million only through 3 innings.
Got to watch some yoga balls.
I've noticed nobody has signed him. They want no part of him. They're like, dude, no way, man. You couldn't stay healthy. I even remember when they signed him, we were like, dude, that guy can't stay healthy. What the hell are they doing?
Revisit this Sean Watson real quick, if you don't mind. Are you buying any of this, or are you is this a legit like AB situation where we're gonna have a legit thing, or you think there's some tomfoolery going on behind the scenes because this quarterback wants to leave town? I mean, I just say that Watson just doesn't seem like the same character. I mean, this would be highly shocking and surprising if true. To me, it would be.
But you never know who the creepers are, right? They always come out.
I suppose, yeah.
But now you're saying 9.
It's been reported on ESPN, and I mean, it's rolling on the ticker that they're saying that it started out at 7. Now there's up to 9 that say, but only. Well, at the time, it was 2 lawsuits. I think yesterday the 3rd came out.
Right.
Someone had filed suit. Wow.
I mean, my take on
Watson's
that
coming from the standpoint of, he hasn't done anything wrong, innocent until proven guilty, which I want to give him that. But, man, that's a lot of accusations to just say a coincidence, but it's also very suspicious timing,
My only take on that is when there's this much smoke, there's got to be a little bit of a fire.
Because
I don't know if I believe
related back to early 2020, and then August 2020 was the second incident. It's March now, and we're finding out about these after contract disputes. I'm just saying it's interesting timing. So I'd really like to see I hope that it's fully transparent what's going on with this.
Here's the thing. If you're trying to get traded to an organization, faking a sexual predator is not the way to do it, because that makes you much less marketable.
Oh no, you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. I think it's not on him fooling around saying that it's happening. I mean, that wouldn't be too, but you don't think it'd be past the team? Takes your highly wanted quarterback off the market.
The only
now you're forced to not trade him, and we know that we're dealing with a crazy owner who obviously
I get that.
The best.
I get that, but then you have to think of the business side of it. It makes your product less marketable, and including like jersey sales, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know if you would want to create that kind of firestorm, because then what if he gets cancel culture? You're still paying the guy, but you got people picketing outside come kickoff, and they don't want, and next thing you know, Tyrod Taylor's leading your team. So I don't think this is something that would be drummed up. I think it's just something that came out, and it took one domino, and now they're all starting to fall. Now, it wouldn't shock me if you're talking about 9 that at least 1 or 2 are telling a fib, right? Because I don't think there's enough hours in the day to get 9 sexual harassments going in one calendar year. But I don't know. I mean, if he would just become elected official of the Democratic Party, they would just ignore it, right? Isn't that what they did with Cuomo? Everyone before him was like, you gotta believe the girl. Then Cuomo gets elected, and it's like, nah, man, it's a money grab. It's not my fault. I'm Italian. I like to use my hands. That's exactly what he said. That was his damn defense.
I don't think he's the only one in office with that cloud over his head either.
No, but what my point is,
but it's hysterically funny right now how silent it is.
If that was Trump, oh my God, can you imagine the firestorm?
I mean, what if it was a Supreme Court justice that was nominated? I mean, like Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, exactly. Or I mean, what if you've got someone who's currently in office right now who is on the other side of the aisle? It surprises me that people like Pelosi and whatnot, that stand up there and say, well, we got him to give him his due process, and then now they're finally coming out and they're finally starting to eat their young. But that's a different topic for a different show. But anywho, what's your walk off for the day, sir?
Oh man, trying to cram in this work, enjoy this Virginia Tech victory, and hope that Tennessee knocks off Oregon State this afternoon. So I got a full slate of non-work and a full slate of work that I've got to try and cram in the next 2 hours. So wish me well, and if not, I'll catch up Monday. Sorry, boss.
Yeah, Vols are 7.5 hours from tip-off, so
if it's not done by then, it's not getting done today.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it is what it is.
I think a lot of people are going to be taking lunch breaks and not coming back. There's going to be all kinds of issues. I don't know, man. Like I got carjacked, and
are you liking the schedule? I know you've been on both sides, and you say you're starting to come around to this, but I'm not liking the Friday. I know it seems fun today, but I think I'd rather have it earlier in the week.
Thursday, I agree with Thursday. I do like putting the first 4 games on the same day, get them over with, don't drag it out. So I would say in the future, I would prefer Wednesday to Sunday, not Thursday to Monday. It was weird. I don't know why they did it, but I guess they were worried about giving an extra day for protocols, but I don't know. It's weird. All right, brother. I'll see you on Monday, and hopefully the Vols and the Knowles have marched on.
I hope so. Hey, real quick, Final Four. Who you got? Do you mind?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going to go Zags, Ohio State, Florida State, and Illinois. What say you?
I got Gonzaga versus Alabama and North Carolina versus Illinois.
Wow.
That'd be good ones.
Alabama, Illinois for the championship. And I am not picking the Tide, baby. I don't even know what the Illinois, they're the Fighting Illinois.
Yeah, I got
Illini, I guess.
Yeah, I got the Fighting Illini beating Gonzaga for it all. But then ask me about my other 72 brackets, and
this is just the one I'm disclosing to you guys. Y'all have a great weekend.
Exactly. Yeah. We're gonna be back on a flash show on the Armchair Quarterbacks with Matt Carr. We're gonna talk the brackets. We'll be right back.
Hey, always ask, fam, what you over there eating? Straight bread, homie. Cause that's all I'm making, baby. You are what you eat. and I'm breaded out from head to toe. They said, what's in between that sandwich? Not a damn. I don't let nothing get in between me and my bread.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. On Saturday, March 20th in the West, Gonzaga plays Norfolk State 1 versus 16. 8 versus 9 is Oklahoma versus Missouri. Creighton versus UCSB is the 5-12 game, while Virginia versus Ohio is 4-13. USC, 6th seed, takes on the winner of Wichita State versus Drake, the 11 seed. That game will be played on Thursday. The 3-14 game, Kansas versus Eastern Washington. Oregon at 20-6 on the year and the Pac-12 champion, they're the number 7 seed taking on number 10 VCU. The 2 seed Iowa Hawkeyes take on Grand Canyon as the number 15 seed. The winner of the West will take on the East. And the East looks like this. 1 versus 16, Michigan gets the winner of Mount St. Mary's versus Texas Southern. Number 8 LSU versus St. Bonaventure. Number 5 seed Colorado, 22-8 on the year. They take on the 12th seed Georgetown Hoyas, who got in via the Big East Championship. Florida State, the number 4 seed in the East, they take on number 13 seed UNC Greensboro, who are 21-8 on the year and create turnovers. Number 6 BYU takes on the number 11 seed Michigan State versus UCLA. That game will kick it all off on Thursday night. Texas, number 3 seed, takes on Abilene Christian, and UConn, the 7 seed, takes on number 10 Maryland, while Alabama takes on Iona. The games being played on Friday and Sunday. We'll start off with the South region. Number 1 Baylor versus Hartford. Number 8 Carolina versus number 9 Wisconsin. Villanova, the 5 seed, takes on number 12 Winthrop. Purdue versus North Texas is the 4 and 13 seed game. Texas Tech, number 6 seed, will take on Utah State, the number 11 seed. Arkansas, 3 seed, will take on Colgate, who is the 14 seed. And the number 7 seed Florida Gators play Virginia Tech, the 10 seed. Virginia Tech was 15-6 on the season. Ohio State, the 2 seed, plays Oral Roberts. In the Midwest region, it's Illinois getting the number 1 seed. They'll take on Drexel, and they'll get the winner of Loyola Chicago, 24-4 on the year, taking on the 9 seed and ACC tournament champion Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. The number 5 seed Tennessee Volunteers will play the number 12 seed Oregon State Beavers, and they'll play the winner of the Oklahoma State Liberty game. Oklahoma getting the 4 seed at 20-8 on the year. San Diego State, number 6, takes on Syracuse at number 11. West Virginia, the 3 seed, plays Morehead State, the 14th seed. And at the very bottom, you've got Clemson, the 7th seed, taking on the 10 seed Rutgers. They'll play for the right to go up against the winner of the Houston-Cleveland State game. Houston is the 2 seed. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
No, it's from Geico, because they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club and roar. It's your choice.
Yes, and it's the choice of a new generation.
I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled.
Welcome back here to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Friday morning. Good morning. CBS Sports Radio and YouTube Live. Find us on YouTube Live today. See a couple of y'all have found us this morning. The first timers, so welcome aboard. And joining us is Matt Carr. Matt, how the hell are you, sir?
Good morning. It's one of my favorite days in sports, man. Usually it's on Thursday, but I'll take it.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. I prefer it on Thursday. It doesn't feel normal, and I do like putting all 4 games on one night. I do like that a lot because the 16 seed games, I don't watch them. I'll put them on a second device just to see if he gets close at the end, but I don't care about them. I only cared about the Wichita State Drake game at the end because it got so damn good. So at the end, I mean, it was actually a fairly entertaining game, but I didn't have a dog in the hunt because you don't predict those in your bracket. The bracket actually start. Anyone who has not signed up, there's still time to sign up. So you go to the Armchair Quarterbacks Facebook page and find our bracket, sign up, and then the PayPal account there. And everything's got to be in by tip-off at, was it 12:15 today, Florida versus Virginia Tech. At that point, we're going to shut it down. We're going to have someone join in on Sunday because we got hot. It's not a bracket, but I decided not to pay until I saw if I was.
Hey, they came for $40.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that has thrown me off a little bit is that I kind of thought that Michigan State would win last night. And with all that being said, let's see. With all that being said, I think I have them going to the next round. I don't have our particular bracket memorized because I filled out a few. I'm in a couple of money brackets, but if that's the case, then that's going to be a disaster because I had much more faith in them than I did
UCLA
because I just don't know enough about UCLA. UCLA looked good. Don't get me wrong. They looked good, but I'm just not convinced that they're good enough. BYU has been a pretty good team all year long. So anyway,
I've not watched a lot of West Coast basketball, honestly, so I really don't know. I mean, I know the Gonzaga because they're on TV every other day they were playing. So
right. Do you have any bracket busters that you're looking at this week?
I don't know if they're bracket busters. There's not any upsets anymore, really. Like, I mean, even when there's an upset, it doesn't feel like there's so much good talent spread across the nation now with people just wanting to go to school so they can play. It's not crazy upsets to me anymore. Even the Virginia upset, when they got upset 3 years ago, I know it was a 116, but Virginia is such a boring team to watch. Even watching that game, I was like, yeah, this adds up. Like, it's just nothing upsets me, but my big one, I guess, would be Winthrop over Villanova. And then I have them going and beating Purdue as well, getting to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I've got Winthrop in a couple of brackets. I know one thing, my damn NIT bracket's about busted. I got to pull for a bunch of damn I was hoodwinked and bamboozled by you this year.
That's getting ugly quick.
I don't even know who won last night. I was trying to pay attention to it, and then I got sidetracked watching the NCAA. Do you know who won last night?
Between who?
Well, there were 2 games last night. I guess I can just pull the damn thing up. I don't know why I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, I watched 2 of them. I know Boise State won, which you did not have.
Yeah, that's the second game that I had guys freaking. Yeah, that's killing me. 2 1-point losses.
And North Carolina State won last night. I know that.
Okay, so that's the only good thing that I did have. I had North Carolina. I should have took North Carolina State further because I got to hope for nothing but freaking upsets at this point. That's the only one I've gotten right so far.
Yeah, that was
I got a total of 1 point. All right.
So, yeah, I was watching that just crack up. When I sent you that GIF from The Office, it made me laugh, scratching them out.
Man, I swear. I mean, the St. Mary's one, That screwed me. I had them winning it all, and they lost by a point in the first round.
Yeah, but I didn't watch much of that game, but apparently they were good to be in that game. Apparently, well, they were down.
They were a good team, though. The thing is that I thought that they had a decent chance to make a run, but had I known that they were the first game of the tournament, I would have never picked it. I would have never picked them because then you're
people just now tuning in don't know we're talking about the NIT. They're like, I didn't see this in my bracket at all.
Look at that big matchup tonight: Colorado State versus Buffalo and Ole Miss versus La Tech.
What round is this?
Let's spend 15 minutes on that. Well, the RPI says, before we get back into the college basketball, did you see this thing where Giannis, the Bucks beat the 76ers and he sat down in the middle of the court? Did you see all the hubbub about this?
No, I didn't. I watched a lot of that game actually, but I didn't watch that.
So they hit the game-winning shot. I can't even remember if he's the one that hit it, but I feel like he was. But he wasn't sitting in the mid-court on the logo, although it's being referenced to like the way when T.O. went to the middle of the Cowboys logo.
Right.
But it was just past the logo, just past mid-court. He sits down and kind of smiling. Of course, it was in Philadelphia.
Right.
So people are up in arms about this. People in particular, this is why I jotted it down. Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon on PTI yesterday were talking about there's going to be retribution, and they were excited about it, and you can't do this, and you can't let that happen. And all I could think of, and I meant to bring this up to Justin, but all I could think of is for years, I've listened to these two asshats talk about how get over it. They ought to be able to flip their bats in baseball. Get over it. And jumping all over the Atlanta Braves organization several years ago was the main one that I remember, because they had there was a Marlin that hit a home run, stared it down, and Brian McCann met the kid at the plate, and there was a big hubbub about that. And then it went on, and now everyone's trying to do bat flips. But they keep saying, get over it. You shouldn't be throwing at people. But yet you're going to talk about putting revenge on Giannis because he sits down in the middle of the court. What the hell is the difference between the two?
I don't know, man. There's a lot more leeway in baseball and football. I think basketball, they won't let that get too far in basketball.
See, I disagree, because basketball has routinely been a bunch of chumps who dunk and they scream in each other's face and they stand over each other after a dunk. Basketball doesn't have the unwritten rules that baseball does.
But they throw technical fouls for anything nowadays. Somebody got a technical foul the other night for saying "and one."
I'm not talking about a technical foul. They were talking about being like frontier justice. In other words, the next time these two teams play, put some hard fouls and send the message that you don't sit down in the middle of our court. And I'm not even saying they're right, or I'm sorry, wrong. I'm saying there's no difference between that and flipping a freaking bat after you hit some home run and staring down the pitcher and then getting pissed off when he busts you inside. That's my point.
I mean, I get your point. I'm just saying hard fouls in basketball, there's not hard fouls anymore in basketball. There's ejections.
We're not talking about the same thing. Focus. I'm not talking about the damn referees. Okay. Put the referees aside. Put your thinking hat on and think about, they're saying there being retribution from the team, the players, because Dwight Howard was one of the ones that was quoted as saying that he thought about hitting him. Okay. Can't remember exactly how he worded it, but he said basically, I thought about hitting him. And so that's what I'm referring to. So they're going to applaud that, but they are going to bitch and moan if Max Fried busts Bryce Harper inside because the at bat before he launches one into the third deck and flips the bat and stares him down. That hasn't happened. I'm just saying if. So that's my point, is what is the difference between sitting down in the middle of a court and smiling and, acting like a jackass, or flipping a bat and embarrassing the pitcher. Both of them are equal jerk off moves, is my point.
Right. Okay.
Is there a difference?
It's not a difference. It's just the retro. I mean, it's just I would rather get hard foul in the NBA than a 99-mile-an-hour fastball coming on ahead.
I get that, but at the same token, you could severely hurt someone if someone's going up for a dunk or a layup.
I mean, you take their legs out. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's,
take their legs out. Go just give them a hard shove into the freaking the post that essentially holds up the rim. I mean, there could be. It's any sport. You could injure someone if you're looking for retribution, and so that's my point. Is
I didn't see it, and I don't know Giannis to be that kind of person. I think he was probably honestly, I think he was just happy they won. Probably just knowing him, not thinking about what he was doing.
Well, his teammates said that's just Giannis. He's just having a good time. He doesn't care who he offends, but he's got to know that when he does that, he's going to piss somebody off. It's just like you got to know that when you flip a bat, or same token, if a pitcher strikes a guy out and he pumps his freaking fist and points at him and screams at him, I feel like that the batter, just like you shouldn't flip a bat to embarrass someone, a batter is in his right to go out there and tackle that son of a bitch. That's why I look at it. And land hard on his pitching arm and go, don't worry, buddy, we won't see you for 6 weeks. I don't know. I know that we're getting to a point in society where it's kind of funny where all these sports say, get over it. It's not a big deal, but yet they're the first to get their feelings hurt over everything. Right. So
I get that.
It's a little confusing for intelligent people, but okay. I'm just when I saw those two talk about it, I thought they were going to go the other direction and say, hey, he was having fun. It's making the game more fun. No, they sat there and they brought up names like Rick Mahorn 30 years ago, right? Yeah, Rick Mahorn would have freaking DDT'd him. But also, at the same token, Charles Barkley wouldn't have done it, right? So it's a totally different story. I think it's a good thing for the NBA if they have retribution in regular season game, because maybe you'll actually get some eyeballs on the damn.
And I mean, I've not watched. I've still not watched. I've watched a little bit this year, but I've watched more than I did last year. But I'm starting to watch more and more of it. But I'll be watching the tournament for the next however many weekends. And
yeah, definitely. NBA is not on my radar. It's just that particular thing. I guess my point is, if I know there's a chance for violence in the Philadelphia-Milwaukee rematch, I'm much more likely to watch it.
It would be more interesting if Joel was playing, definitely. But I guess I'll put some eyeballs on it right now this next time too.
Yeah, it's just like if I know that there's a stink going on between two baseball teams that I normally don't follow, I'm going to tune in to see, if the Royals and White Sox are about to go at it because of something that just happened.
So that being said, is there going to be any retribution for the Astros still, you think? Or is that
I do. I still don't think that's over. I think it's a little bit past it because so many of them have moved on to other teams, but I still think that you're going to see something this year. Now, especially with fans coming back to the stands, you're going to see something.
Yeah. See, that's what I was looking forward to last year. I was looking at the opening game with Houston.
I think it would be even more salty if the Dodgers hadn't just won the World Series, because the Dodgers were the most pissed off about it because they felt like that they were the ones that got screwed in the deal.
Well, and the Yankees. So, I mean, it'll be the Yankees and the Dodgers that will be the most pissed, I guess.
Yeah. The Yankees will wait till Aroldis Chapman's back from his suspension so he can get it suspended again, throw that 103 heater up
exactly. They're waiting until the orange train gets back up to that triple digits.
The guy that I would go after would be Carlos Correa because he was the most boisterous one. He was the one that talked so much smack, and he was also the one that basically said, I'm not scared of them. He'd be the first one that I'd give a rib sandwich to. Okay. Back to the tournament because we only have so much time.
Back to the NIT.
Back to the seedings that were just released for the women's college basketball tournament. No, okay, March Madness. let's get back into that because you got some games today. Kind of curious where your head's at on this. I'm leaning Virginia Tech upsetting Florida, but I don't have a great feeling of this. Tony says that he's picking Colgate to upset Arkansas. Now, Colgate's 14-1. And they supposedly play a very exciting brand of basketball.
Yeah,
but I've been impressed by Arkansas this year.
I've been impressed. Arkansas has been fun to watch, but Colgate, yeah, as Tony always likes to talk about, the darlings. So they'll be fun to watch in the tournament. At least one game.
Do you have them beating Arkansas?
I have Arkansas in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think I have Arkansas going a decent stretch. Utah State, Texas Tech, that's a big one to me because I've got Texas Tech going a few rounds. So I think they're slated to play Arkansas.
So that's why I have second round, Texas Tech, Arkansas.
You know there's going to be a big upset in day one. There always is. What shot are you calling? I'm calling Winthrop over Villanova.
I'm calling Winthrop. I wouldn't mind Colgate. I don't have a lot of upsets, honestly.
Joey's picking.
People are saying Georgetown's going to upset Colorado. I hope Colorado beats them by 20.
Joey's picking Utah State. Is the Georgetown Colorado game today?
I don't have the dates in front of me. I just have the bracket.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I definitely think Georgetown's going to give Colorado all they can handle. Tomorrow,
no big upsets, man.
I'll tell you what worries the hell out of me. 12:45 tomorrow. Florida State playing UNC Greensboro, because evidently Greensboro causes turnovers, and that is Florida State's biggest Achilles heel.
Yeah, Florida State had a rough last game with some of their turnovers.
It's been like that all year long, and it's no rhyme or reason. There's some games where they protect the ball phenomenally, and there's other times where they look like that they have never been on the same court together, and one's zigging while the other one's zagging. But that game scares the hell out of me. I'm gonna be locked into that 12:45 tomorrow. Tomorrow's upsets, I have been favoring UC Santa Barbara. I wonder about how good Creighton is.
I think after Creighton got blown out in that last game, I think they come out I don't think they get crazy far, but I think they take care of that game just because of how bad they got beat last game.
And I could see that, the thing is, when people say Creighton's overseeded, well, it's not like UC Santa Barbara's headed to the Final Four, so what the hell are we talking about? I definitely think USC is going to get past Drake, so I'm not picking that one. USC, they're saying that the kid for USC might be the number one draft pick overall. I have not watched him play yet, so I do want to see that game tomorrow.
Yeah, I do too. I have USC getting beat by Drake, Wichita State, which is now Drake. Yeah, they said he's like the number one or two pick. They got the guy from Oklahoma, Cunningham from Oklahoma State being the number one pick, which is why I've got Oklahoma State going farther than I probably should. But I have USC getting put out first round.
I would never pick it, but the one that's kind of got me, just remember this, but I would never put this in my bracket. I've got this funny, weird feeling about Abilene Christian knocking out Texas. I'm not a Longhorn believer this year.
In any sport.
No, I've watched them play, and they've won some games, but they're also very susceptible to defensive breakdowns, and I don't know enough about Abilene Christian, so that's why I would never pick them. But that one, the 14 knocking off the 3, that would probably be my shot called as far as like the biggest one outside the the 5-12s that I've been naming. Yeah, that's Ohio beating Virginia. That one just wouldn't shock me because Virginia has not practiced basketball
right
in like 9 days. And you're going to throw them right into playing Ohio, which is a decent basketball program. They're supposed to fly in today and into Bloomington today and then play tomorrow. When the hell are they going to practice? They've all been, quarantined because they were afraid of the virus spreading. And we already know that they're going to be missing one of their players It wasn't announced who it was, but it's at least one. What if they go out there with a skeleton crew? That makes sense. And Georgia Tech, by the way, everyone, this has gone on the radar. Georgia Tech's best player is out for today's game or tomorrow's game, whenever they play. But that's not really an upset. That's an 8-9.
But I do have Georgia Tech winning that game. You sold me on them. You sold me on that last
good.
Friday.
They're good, but when you get one of your best players is done, he's not done for the tournament. He's done. They say he won't play today, but he may play. He may be. It all depends on if he passes. They could be a dangerous team getting into the next round. But
I don't know if their defense was that good or Florida State offense turnovers was that bad, but they were impressive.
Right, but they're going to play a Loyola Chicago team. Sister Jean's going to be on the sideline there.
Are they letting her in? Okay, I read her article.
She said she's going to be there, and
cool.
That surprised me considering her age. But I guess she's like, whatever, dude.
I might have to change my bracket then because I loved that run they made a couple years ago. That was awesome.
She said that she's probably going to be. Oh, she's planning on being there. Who knows if they actually,
Yeah.
They don't want that to be the face of the 2021 tournament, do they? Her catching freaking COVID and things turning south really quick. God.
Yeah, I mean, she has
got the right to
103.
go, but that may not be a good look for the NCAA.
That's a very good point. But I would love to watch. I want to watch that game anyway. But I think I might change my bracket from my recent information I've received.
Sister Jean, can we talk you into just Zooming and we'll put you?
We'll
interview you at halftime. Yeah.
She's like, I'm sitting on the court.
Exactly. It's time to turn back time and get the hell out of here. So let's go ahead and start that. What the hell was that? Okay.
Share sounds rough.
Let's go. Let's hit it.
There we go.
Okay. On this date in 1989, hoping to replace the often injured Dave Winfield, the Yankees make a blockbuster trade and bring Joel Skinner and a minor leaguer to the Indians for outfielder Mel Hall. The future Hall of Famer will miss the entire season due to back surgery. That was typical Yankees baseball in the late 80s, early 90s, man. Until they turned the corner, that was so damn on point. And also in this state 26 years ago, Michael Jordan returns to the Chicago Bulls after his hiatus of terrible baseball playing. So there you go with that. Birthdays.
It's your birthday today. What does that mean?
And so not a whole lot of big names that I've seen. I mean, I saw Corey Fleming. I'm sure you remember Corey Fleming, Dallas Cowboy wide receiver. Played it. I think he was a volunteer.
Yeah.
But the one I'm circling is Mr. Rick Meyer. He is 51 years old today. If people don't remember him, he was supposed to be the guy in, I guess that was the 1991 draft. Drafted very high because he was a quarterback from Notre Dame, drafted by the Seattle Seahawks. Later played for the Chicago Bears. People are like, wait, who? Exactly. That was a total bust. A total bust. One of about 7 busts that I can think of from Notre Dame back in those days that they would draft high because the Notre Dame brand. And it wasn't until, I don't know, like late 90s, early 2000s that they quit making that ridiculous mistake. What is your walk-off for the day, sir?
Thank God basketball is back. It's going to be a lot of. It's going to be good to have them on TVs. I'm hoping TBS and TNT. Well, I mean, I hope I get to watch a lot of basketball this weekend.
It's TBS, TNT, and True TV along with CBS is what you're looking at this weekend.
Yeah, that's what they did the last couple of years. It's just when they started doing that, I was so glad because you could watch so many games. I'm going to be watching so many games.
Yeah, normally I do a weekend watch at this point, but I mean, just turn on those 4 stations, y'all, and get locked in for the entire weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then of course Monday. We'll be back at it here Monday. I haven't seen the tip times for the Monday games. I don't know if it's an all-day thing. Have you seen this yet?
I haven't seen it, but I would assume they play it just like a Thursday. Well, they might start probably around 3:00. I would assume.
Problem is, when I fast forward to the Monday on the scoreboard, it just says to be determined. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games that are going to be played on Monday. But what I don't know is, will they do like Sundays normally, where they start around noon, and then they have, they'll usually cram 2 or 3 games in before 5:00, and then they have a slew of night games on different networks where CBS gets the bulk of the Sunday.
I would assume they play it just like a normal Sunday. They probably, I forgot that they start at noon on Sundays, so I'll say they'll do that because they're doing it today. So
what my question is that come Monday, are they just going to try to play 4 games on top of each other? Or sorry, 8 games on top of each other in 4 time slots. So in other words, start like 4, start 5, 7, 9 ish, somewhere like that. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Have a great weekend, and go Seminoles.
Go Baylor.
What?
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another